Nidan, Shodan. Yeah! Yeah! So, in the first move, did you have a comment on that?
I got lots of things to talk about.
Yeah. The first move on the same subject of seeing something at its basic form versus seeing something as a little more hidden grappling technique.
All right.
Some will look at if you step in with your right hand and punch, and then do another punch, and then I punch you. That's extremely basic, can you say?
Right.
So the thing here is, for fight situation, we're grabbing each other, doing this, then this is more of a off balance.
Right.
And then I'm gonna cross, and then I'm going to extend. So, not even a break necessarily, as a full throw that goes from here to pushing you, and then pushing you down.
Alright.
Okay?
So it's an extension of the throw.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. Just let me just move you the way I will here. If I push you across, pull you off balance, and then strike here and down,
I go right there.
right?
Perfect. Right.
And the way we do it, it looks like it's 1, 2, more of a cross block, and straight punch. But the way that you did it provides so much validity to what I was thinking, because you do more of a here, here, and then you do like a straightening side punch here, right? Which maybe even works better when you do it to me. It works better in that series. You grab me, and you do the first move, you throw me off. Here. And then this hand comes down across.
Here.
And then that one comes out. Boom. And then doing it the other way for redundancy.
Exactly. To show that it can go both ways.
Yeah, to get that feel both ways. Based on what you feel is necessary in the moment.
Right. Okay.
So that's something I've been thinking about for a while. But even my colleagues, not everyone sees that. Most people see that basic block once, block twice. Now I get to punch you. And it's just a little too simplistic, really.
Right.
Too many things have to happen perfectly.
Right.
The only thing that has to happen in order for us to do what I just talked about is that we end up in this situation.
Exactly.
And then anyone can do it from there. You could do it, I could do it.
Exactly.
So, that's my being thought on that.
You know what? I like where you're going with this. And this leads into what we were talking about earlier about the specifically Thai Savaki movements, right? Kyle, shout out to you. He's the guy that I was telling you about that's practiced Taekwondo and a little bit of Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
So not yesterday, but last Saturday, we had a really interesting third class where we were getting into foot sweeps. And we were doing exactly what you and I were just doing, where we grab each other, and we had a mat down, right? And we would pull each other off balance, maybe go this way, exactly. And then
Look for that opportunity.
Look for the opportunity and to set it up. And exactly, and do this as well. Exactly. So one of the things, this leads me to why I had that look on my face at the end of when you first started. A lot of things that your style seems to do, and this is a question, is everything is in this upright stance, which to me means you are very
able to tip if needed.
Exactly. Right. Able to tip or tippable? It feels tippable.
Tippable, right? Yeah, tippable.
Yeah, like I could, because you're always in this natural upright stance, boom, if I drop into my stance, I have the advantage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or even if I start out in my stance, I have the advantage.
Yeah. So in our style, there is a lot of level change. Because there are some karate styles that I've seen that stay upright in this natural stance most of the time. And their like cat stance looks a little bit like this. And it's almost nothing.
Yeah. It's
Right.
not deep and
We do drop.
Alright,
We just don't drop so much that we have a hard time getting out.
got it.
So it's more of a speed thing.
And that's the metric that you use is drop enough that you can get out of it really fast.
Yeah, so if you are high enough, and we're in a situation where I need to drop, I got enough level change to get me going.
So you emphasize on the speed of the drop.
Right. The speed of the drop, or just the level change for the purposes of tech, whether it be, so we do a kata called Kusan Kusho. You guys might call it Kankudai.
Or Kankusho.
Or Kankucho, where we do punch, and then we drop to block, and then we move up to punch. And it's this rising while striking, and receding while an uke is happening sometimes.
You used an interesting word, receiving.
Receiving.
Yes.
Could be either, right?
Exactly.
Depending on what's needed.
Exactly. Well, I'm being intentional about it because there's an ongoing. So I saw a YouTube video. There's an ongoing debate about Honduras and stuff. When a strike is happening, there's this roll out. Now, the block that I just did, we don't do it that way. Actually, I can show it better with a different Chudanzuki.
Okay.
Right? Where I'm receiving and redirecting. Now this goes back to what you just did. And out here, what we typically do is this. See, I'm going into.
Yes.
Yeah. All of our blocks except for this one, you are rolling, you are redirecting out. Receiving and redirecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was pointing it about the words receiving versus receiving. And I think that it is our intention. This goes back to this philosophical conversation. You should be receiving and then giving back. Receiving energy and then doing something with it, right?
Right. Okay. So same thought here. I think ours happens on a smaller level.
Okay.
Because we do that motion also. When you punch, we do this.
Right.
But the thought is that if I'm gonna receive it and it's gonna be more powerful than I can take, this is the soft side of my forearm.
Right.
And I'm gonna let the hard part of your arm touch the soft side of mine. But if I have the opportunity, I'm gonna strike you in the moment and rotate to where my forearm bone digs into yours.
Right.
So we have this
Yes, exactly.
pop. Perfect.
Yep.
Or if I feel pretty confident that I see this punch coming, boom.
Exactly. Height.
Okay. Same with the other way,
Right.
right? The other way, I have this soft spot that I could rely on if I need to. And then I also have the ability to turn to where it's bone to bone. And if I see it coming from a mile away, clack, boom, could really nail something.
Exactly.
That's what's going on in our arms.
We do the exact same thing. We call it kime, where we put all the power in one spot.
Okay, a concentration.
Exactly. And then we later on we get to what to do with that power, which is exactly where you just were. Right? Okay, if I'm gonna focus all the power in one spot, boom! And I'm gonna tweak that. And I'm going for exactly where you did that nerve. That nerve.
Do you guys do kotikite much?
Demonstrate.
Like a body hardening, where we do like,
Do I grab it?
we'll go wrist to wrist. Just
No, we don't do that.
don't ever do that?
No.
Okay.
My hesitation
Mhm.
is that there's a term that we go to in Pittsburgh, Kansas,
Mhm.
where they're more shitoru,
Okay.
and I've seen them do that. I've picked up a couple of theirs. They have like 8 drills. I
Okay.
picked up the first 3, and we do them every once in a while. So it's not that like look on my
Yeah.
face like, no, we don't do it. But I've picked it up, and there's only a couple of students that really get into it, so I don't,
So we do it for that reason when we do our strikes and blocks, so you can get this comfortability, and we'll go really light just at the beginning, especially if you haven't been doing it. Comfortability of knowing exactly what part of our arm is that hard spot, how much we can take
Right.
before we try to deliver something with it.
Right.
And then we'll do this one too. We're doing the outside.
Yep.
And then we'll do a combination where we go inside, go up, down. And we'll do that and start light, right? But your body gets used to it, and more importantly, you get more acquainted with that spot that you're trying to put that power into.
So how many drills do you have? Because that is one of the drills.
That one right there?
That I was just talking about. That is one of the drills.
So that's the main one we do for the arms,
Okay.
but we do also like one for the legs. So like if you're trying to get used to, if you do a Mawashigeti, right down here, this kind of like brace and tension of the muscle to protect the bone and the nerves.
Right, exactly.
So if you do a forward stance, like an aggressive forward stance, would have a partner who would come here and they go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
And we just work on receiving that blow in a way that, it's never gonna feel great, but
Yeah,
it's not
but you get used to
debilitating.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do that one as well.
Well, I got a couple of students that's gonna love that.
Yeah. So that's great for mostly leg defense.
Yeah.
And
It's almost Muay Thai in a way.
yeah, so you can get even more where we've done these too, where you stand and you kick me on my leg, and then I kick you lightly on your leg,
Right.
and that gives me the opportunity to know, okay, that's what a good hit feels like on the top of my foot.
Exactly.
I want that at higher speed when I mean it.
Exactly.
And then you have yours, and then I know, okay, here that comes.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you can dive deep and have entire classes of just that,
Oh, yeah.
right?
No, my mind is spent.
Yes.
I got a couple of students that, trust me, they'll be in the corner doing this.
There's a time management thing, because if you get too much of that, you don't get like the technique, so.
Yeah, and you just mentioned something really, really important, time management, because, and this is kind of the way I run my classes in general. And I do it, I'm letting out secrets here. I do it to make every class as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
Where I'll say, this is what we're doing today. And I purposefully don't print or talk about what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because I want people to walk in and go, oh.
What are we doing today?
Exactly.
Coming with an open mind.
Coming with an
Yeah.
open mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what I usually do though is I'll say like, hey, it's been 2 weeks, we've been working on stances, now we're gonna work on the movement of the stance. And we'll probably do that, we'll do that with our keyhole and our katas, Ippon Kumite, all that stuff. And we'll say, hey, we'll build, that's what we're doing for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're working on movement for the next 2 weeks. We're working on stances for the next 2 weeks. We're working on hip movement for the next 2 weeks, right? But yeah, and then usually by the second week, we're starting to mix in drills and stuff. And, so the first week they get, oh, okay, this is where it's going. The second week is drills, and then
It just expands.
exactly,
Cool.
exactly.
Cool.
And it's really nice because at every belt level, you go, oh, this is why he was talking about this in yellow belt. You were talking about hip movement in yellow belt. Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
But now that I'm up here at purple belt, you mean it now.
Right.
You're not gonna pass me on the test because I'm not doing something that we were talking about last time. So I gotta make sure everybody sees, go out and take that back. That's the reason why I have the first class and then basically the second and third class. The third class is the upper belts where, basically it's red belt and above. And I apologize, I know your system's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
I generally understand that like purple belt for most styles is high up there.
exactly. So, pro belt will be like,
Brown belt or something.
yeah, exactly.
Cool. So, and I think that's one of the greatest things about karate, as far as your journey, is you can go further, and a kata you just learned will teach you something that you can improve on a kata you've known for years.
Exactly.
and you go back to it and you're like, wait, let me apply this new lesson to something I've been doing forever, and then you develop and evolve.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm running into that with some of my notes, because they did these concepts.
Yeah.
So, I have a lady, she's been with maybe a month and a half's worth of classes.
Mm-hmm.
Her movement is amazing. And like, she'll do something, and I'm like, oh, that's a great hip movement. Please don't lose that.
Do you have a dancing background?
Yoga and, it might be dancing. It's just the way she holds her posture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of ballet dancers in my adult class.
Yeah.
And apart from keeping their kicks from looking like this,
Yeah.
which they do all the time and I have
Right.
to correct them.
Right.
Apart from that, their balance is impeccable.
Yeah.
So, it's great.
Yeah. All right. So,
Can I ask you one other thing?
Oh, please.
Just because you do the technique you guys do, where we do this, and we do a front kick. You do a side kick and a huracan,
Right.
which we do in a later kata. And honestly, I haven't found a really sufficient bunkai to think about, an application to think about for that, or oyo. So if you have something in mind, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so what I've been told is basically, Hidari starts going to recommend today. Jodanzuki. Block, strike.
Okay.
And
that makes sense, because I can't think of anything more complex.
Right.
So
Well,
I get that.
and then, but it also could be, you just catch them off guard, and both things happen at the same time.
Right. Okay.
Nothing more complex than that. But as you see, it's kind of meant as a finishing, because you turn around and go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they've always said it. And I know we talk a lot about not being on one leg. We like to keep our feet on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be wrong. There could be, oh, no, there is, oh, beautiful. I just remember we did have an elite a couple years ago, we did talk about this.
Okay.
So, and then face this way. So we just did blah, 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 we come here, here, switch to the other way, right?
Okay.
Now I'm behind you.
Now you're gonna take me.
Exactly. Grab, remember it's here, right?
Yeah.
So grab, here, pull down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in some form or fashion, you might find yourself behind.
Yeah, because you just switched directions,
Mhm.
so you just reoriented yourself. And so you
Okay, so
behind.
So we were here, we were fighting of some type,
Right.
and you just hit me or something.
Behind you,
Okay.
kick, pull down.
Okay. So it's a simple reorientation of going in.
And that's the reason why you're going behind you, behind your opponent.
Okay.
There's this really big conversation going on right now about the direction you turn away. Meaning, when you turn a direction in the kata,
Mm-hmm.
it's not oriented to where you are, it's oriented to the person that you are attacking. It's the reason why you have this way, boom, boom. You're saying, I can attack you from my left, and then switch 45 degrees to you and do it again and attack.
Mhm.
That has a meaning.
Okay.
Then I can do a full, it's not 180, maybe like a 120 or 140 or whatever,
Yeah.
and reorient myself 120 degrees around you the other way, and then attack you, and this application should work.
Okay. So I have seen in some kata something that gives that a lot of validation, where there's a switch step, where rather than it's step through to here, it is instead boom, boom. Seen that a few times.
That's exactly.
Okay.
One of our last meetings, we talked about exactly that.
Mhm.
And if you go through your katas with that in mind, it really changes things around.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're talking about that, because I think So we have a test on, September 23rd. And after that test is when I start mixing in crazy stuff, right? Like we'll have classes on just bunk out, classes on just any kind of oil, right?
Yeah.
And I'll say, hey, what is your concept that you just did? Break it down. Let's work on it. Tell me what you interpret, right? And then I'll pull in these concepts. Oh, no, change directions and now apply it. Well, what did the other person do? Did they hit it? Did they strike it? What are they doing that you applied this and then all of a sudden it works? I saw one online, an art suggestion, for Coca Special Luca. So go here, and then boom. And I think you talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thought we have when you punch, is this is the block.
Yeah.
This is the strike and brace, right? And in that scenario that you just put together, yeah, you open up the ribs for somebody by not letting their arm come down.
Exactly. So those are the little things that I'll bring up in those extra classes for the second and third class. And then they're all re-engaged again. They just took a test. They're all hyped up. They got
Ready for something new, yeah.
Exactly. They got new concepts to learn.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
all this stuff. And I can say, hey, wait a minute, hold on. Let's expand on what you got. Let's keep that mind working on what you got. Then by the time they all, and also during this whole time, they're learning new concepts. They're learning the new keyhole.
Precisely.
And I'm like, nope, let's keep that mind going.
Yeah.
So,
That's great.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Oh, you gotta get going? Okay.
11. So we got time.
A little bit.
I think one thing that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Is if we do our katas next to each other.
Yeah. If we got enough room, yeah, we should have plenty of room, especially if we're doing relatively the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
Shimasu. And Nidan.
Nidan Shodan.
Hey. Hey. Very good for this stuff. Yeah, that's nice. Can't wait to put that together.
I want to think if I added an extra punch in there, an extra punch kick. So let me think about it. Here. I did. Because you went straight forward from here.
Right.
And I didn't. I did one more and then went forward. So
Right.
I added one in there. So if anyone asks, why does he do 3?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have enough coffee.
Alright, that works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let's, I'm trying to think of, so more of those throws.
Yes.
In
Your
there.
mind is already going exactly where I was ready to go.
Everywhere we're doing from here.
Right?
So, I know we talked about finger
Strength,
strength and pointing, but here, especially directly before a turn,
Right.
to me it's a throw.
Right.
It's a setup for a throw.
It's almost more of a grab.
Yeah, it's a,
Right.
and now I've done exactly what all the judo players do, where I'm in, and I've got my arm up in yours.
Right.
And I'm about to do this big turn.
Exactly. Perfect. Right. That's good.
So that's what I always think about with that one. And there's one other where there's a turn that follows directly, and I believe it is Pinyan Yandan.
Right.
Or Pinyan Sandan, where we go in, and then we do this kind of movement. And it's depicted in that YouTube video I showed you.
Okay.
And that's cool. And if you want, we can wait till Pinyan Yandan to do that sort of thing.
We have to, otherwise it'll be too
it's too much, right?
Exactly.
But for the moment, that move something, and you did the same thing. You went here, right?
Right.
So,
And
then you did this, and brought your hand up.
exactly.
It was just the same movement, and if you want, I got a chance to throw you.
Right.
Toss me.
Oh.
Get in nice and close.
Oh yeah, I got it. Like so, block here.
Yep.
And then
And do your movement.
yeah.
Alright.
Ooh, you know what? So
Yeah.
it even gets a little more complicated, right? If I'm here, you're right, because this arm. Here, grab, toss, and then boom.
You could get that strike in too. I've thought about that as well.
Yeah,
That kind of,
what we talked about earlier.
yeah, where we come in, and we're gonna turn. And this does a lot of the moving with the kazushi you have on your hips.
Yep.
And then somehow around here, you have this opportunity to strike at the same time.
Well, it comes. Ooh, so this is a big debate in our dojo.
Okay.
And this is particularly to our dojo, because this is something that I've been insistent about because I just think it's a really good application. The very first movement we have is this.
Yes.
Right? But let's focus on this hand. So
Yeah.
each, right? That redirection right there.
I think I asked you about this on our first time meeting up.
Exactly. I see a lot of this, where people just come up this way. Now notice, I had to step out of the way because that fist is coming, right?
Yeah.
I stepped out of the way because they don't block,
Right.
right? And they rely on this, or they rely on this hand to do things.
Mhm.
So, but I'm thinking in the context of you can stand in your way. I'm thinking in the context of the move that we just did,
Mhm.
because if I'm here, this hand comes up inside to now go this way. So I'm gonna
you
do
were
it.
getting close to me, and I decided to take a whack at you at the same time. You'd be
Exactly.
covered.
So I'm here, right?
Well,
And
then I'm even more screwed because I got both my hands up here.
Exactly. Boom.
Yeah.
And we
You
do
got
the
me
whole
wrapped.
it's the same hip turn thing and everything. Oh, speaking of the hip turn.
Mhm.
Oh,
We got really close. You could take me right over, right?
Exactly, because it's coming in here.
Wherever we may
That-
be.
Here,
Yeah.
right?
Could be.
And now, and we're going to a kokutsudachi this way, right?
Mhm.
So here, boom, you're right over that hip. That hip really meets a lot now. Here,
Yeah, no, I get you exactly what you're talking about with the hip.
but
But when you set up that way, I think it's unnecessary because, so go ahead and set up that way like you just did.
I already got.
So if I have a strong stance, I've actually got you.
Right.
But I think it's unnecessary because we're going over 180 degrees on this next turn, right? So we create, if I'm doing it to you,
Right.
I'm gonna create this opportunity to get my hip under you because I'm turning so far
Exactly. Boom.
that I can do this sort of thing.
Right. Perfect.
I
Right.
think that's important to recognize on those more than 180 degree turns,
Exactly.
is that you do this move in on
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
That's cool to think about though. And that other hand that you guys do is right on the money, because my hand is still free. So when you're doing this to me,
Exactly. That hand.
my
is
hand or
free.
elbow, if you're close enough,
Exactly.
is still free.
And I need something to be in the way as it's coming up.
And you can grab me up even more by doing that.
Yeah.
Like I'm claustrophobic here.
Yeah. Exactly. We're bound up.
Mhm.
But I have something in between us.
You do.
And God forbid, even in that, right, I'm doing all of this and coming up this way,
Yeah.
right? Boom, boom, like, I have control.
Mhm.
Even in a backwards stance.
That's another thing I saw that was different between you and I,
Our stances.
is the direction at any given point. So when you do your first move, let's do our first move simultaneously.
Right.
So we go, going, height. You move forward on that one, And I move, I sink my weight back. When I move backwards, I sink my weight.
Right,
This-
right.
Okay?
Right.
Different after this move, where we did our turn and you
Right.
do your kick,
Right.
I step down and move forward.
Oh, and I move back.
Yeah.
So
I think yours, in the beginning, I think yours shows an aggressive attack this way, and mine shows kind of a reactionary receiving. And then in the other one, I think mine shows something to the effect of a throw that has to have me moving somebody,
Exactly.
and yours is maybe more receiving there.
Exactly.
So that's interesting to see where our forefathers
Right.
saw that going.
You're right.
Yeah. I would wonder what their thoughts were on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's to know?
Right.
Yeah. I think those are basic, other than kind of the way we execute our stances, I think those are the only differences we've had.
Right.
Which is cool.
Very cool. Some interesting differences though.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when it comes to the actual application of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
So, well, hey.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you.
Yeah, trust me.
You got somewhere to go.
Yeah, I
You don't want me to keep you.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's been amazing.
Thank you, man.
I'll put this on YouTube. Send you the link.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I
Yeah.
could just watch this whole thing.
Exactly.
I could watch you do your cut in it if I wanted, if I had any questions afterwards. Awesome.
That's perfect. Let me make sure a video. Oh,
Right.
I guess.
どうもありがとうございます。
Ah. I don't think I've heard you say your